Thank you. First, it is my honor to be participate at this meeting, and also to have the opportunity to hear all these great presentations. And hopefully you will also can use some point from our experience. I will try now to share the screen. Okay. Do you?
That's fine. Yes, we see it.
Okay.
Perhaps I think if you could click on the full screen or slideshow, because we see the slides on the left-hand side still.
Okay.
Next.
It's okay now.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Well, I'm going to present you what we have done so far related to digital learning for adults in our country. Especially, it started to make some developments from March last year. When pandemic has happened, it was quite a mess in our educational system. So I'm now speaking not only about adult education, but about all levels of education. It was everything was dedicated to individual teacher. So some of them were using Viber, some of them WhatsApp, some of them were using other platforms. Many of our teachers from primary, secondary schools and also adult education providers have their login access to Microsoft 365 because it is platform that maybe a few years ago started to be used by our educational institutions from pre-primary education till higher educational institutions. So it was a big mess. But in March, we thought that we have to do something to make some unique platform for all levels of education. So we call it digital school as a new concept. And we need to create some safe and inclusive digital school environment that will enable effective communication between all stakeholders involved in the teaching process, like school management, professional associates, teachers, students, parents, and others. Also, to have a planning of educational work, efficient work of professional bodies and teams, administration, and to provide quality distance learning and teaching, availability of learning materials, possibility of continuous monitoring of students' activities and achievement. Since many of our educational institutions have already used Microsoft Office 365 service, we just used its application Microsoft Team programs to be used by all educational institutions in Montenegro. The school community is thus segmented into teams that are formed to mimic the standard structure of school, like teachers council, professional school teams, administration, classes, and others. Also, school can independently form other teams in this application. It is not recommended to create a large number of teams due to difficult administration and monitoring of activities. And it looks like that. We created web portal digitalnascola.edu.me, so that anyone who want to use this platform can find a recommendation for using different application within this platform related to organization of teaching process. So we have some recommendation for school management. We have recommendations for ICT coordinators, because in each of our educational institution, primary, secondary, and adult learning providers, they have their own ICT coordinators in order to have better connection with digital applications. Also, we have separate recommendations for teachers and separate recommendations for students. Each of these groups can find anything that he wants to use within this platform in order to have a better knowledge, better use of his knowledge and skills related to using of this platform. As I already told you, direct users of this new digital platform are all educational institutions in Montenegro, from pre-primary education, primary, secondary, resource centers, and adult education providers. Also, since I am working at the Ministry of Education, Science, Culture and Sports, my colleagues and I are using this platform all the time, especially during the last year and now. Also, colleagues from all other institutions that are in charge of education policy in Montenegro, like VET Center, Examination Center, and other institutions. Also, during this almost a whole year, we organized trainings for teachers. So you can see how many teachers from primary, secondary, pre-primary, and adult education providers have attended these trainings. Trainings were organized by our IT department at the ministry. We created a new change and innovation within our information system of the Ministry of Education. At our ministry, we have a specific digital application that is used only by our IT department, but all educational institutions have they access to like its own profile. In 2018, till 2018, we have a special application for primary and secondary schools, and in that year we created application for adult education providers. It was financed by a pilot project. So we now have a database that consists of all relevant information for adult education policy in Montenegro and adult education providers. Each of our adult education providers is obliged to write all of its information to this system, like for what programs they have licensed for, how many candidates they have for each program, They have to put also not only the name of the candidate, but like different other different information, where they are from, what age, status, is he or she employed or unemployed, and other information. Now I will present you some of the relevant information that can be interested for you to present our adult education system in the country. I used data from not from last year, but from 2019. Because related to teaching and training process, we really have bad numbers in the last year. We have in 2019 we have 109 adult education providers in total. As you can see, it is divided per municipalities, and the majority of them are settled down in our capital, Podgorica. So it is quite logical, because half of the country is living in the capital city. Also, in our country, adult education providers can be public institutions and private institutions. As a public institution, we have a majority of them are vet schools, secondary vet schools, and we have these numbers like almost 30% are public schools, and the rest are private institutions. Also, when related to public institutions, only 4 of them are primary schools, 1 is resource center, and all the rest are secondary schools. Majority, as I told you already, majority of them are vet schools, and a few of them only are gymnasiums. Also, I put this slide to get to see the year of registering at the system of those providers. So we had like golden year 2011. As you can see, it is more than 20% of adult education providers registering at the system at that year. Also, I will present you how many candidates we had per municipalities in 2019. Majority, almost 80%, were from the capital city. As I already told you, actually the majority of adult education providers are settled in the capital. Also, it can be interesting slide, because we have one financing source for all adult education providers in Montenegro, because our National Employment Agency have a special fund each year only for them. It is €500,000 of euros, and this or some more, and this call is once or twice a year, and every adult education providers can apply at this call and use this financing method. But as you can see, majority of adult education providers are financed by candidates. So candidates are financed by themselves. Also, many of them are financed by that public financing source as National Employment Agency is offering. And also many, almost 20%, the candidate are working for is financing its further education at using adult education providers programs. Also, we have a very small number financed by project, so it really shows us that Montenegro still doesn't use European and other funds as much as we can. Also, for me, it was when I started to work at the ministry, it was like 10 years ago. But for me, still, these numbers are very strange, because we have a majority of candidates at adult education providers, people from 19 to 40. I thought that candidates for those programs are people more than 40, but it is not the case in our country. So it shows us that many of people in between this age want to change their job, want to have changed their primary their education, and etc. Also, thanks to National Coordinator project, we upgraded two portals for all citizens of for all our citizens. It is School Network portal and School Statistic portal. Now I will just to show you this. No. How to no. It is can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So it is this platform is a school statistic platform. We upgraded with data from adult education, so you can find here different relevant information of adult education system in Montenegro, not only about numbers, but about different programs that candidates can find at adult education system, who can apply for, and everything. Also, this is where you can find all adult education providers in Montenegro, and when you click it, you can see the page has expired. Okay, something happened. When you click it, you can find like information on what on the address, contact, emails, telephone of that adult education provider. So any interested citizen in the country can now easily find all information about different adult education programs and adult education providers in the country. Okay. Now I'm going to back to okay. Školska statistika, and we have Školska mreža portal. Also, we upgraded this portal with adult education providers. So when you are at this platform, you just click on adult education providers, and you can see all locations of adult education providers in the country. Since it is used by Google Map application, you can now easily find how many, how far that provider that you are interested for is far from your home, from your city, and etc. At the Ministry at my ministry, Ministry of Education, Science, Culture and Sports, since we all use this Teams platform with daily communication with all of our educational institutions, we have different Teams groups. As you can see, it is 9, I think, yes. The groups are as follows: pre-primary education institution, primary schools, secondary schools, musical schools, resource centers, ICT coordinators. As I already told you, each it is prescribed by our general law that all educational institutions in Montenegro have to has to have ICT coordinators. Then we organized and created a group, adult education providers, ICT department, and career guidance and counseling teams. So we, as a department for adult learning at the ministry, we are administrators of these adult education providers group, and we have like a daily communication with all of our adult education providers in Montenegro, especially in these days, because for example, our measures now are changing all the time, measures from avoiding disease spreading. So we have to, in this group, we uploaded different decisions of the ministry in order to inform our adult education providers on all new developments regarding this, and also regarding policy that we have. Also, if they want to apply for some project or something else, and they want to find partners or whatever discussion they want to have within themselves or with the representative of the ministry, we are now using this group, adult education providers. And that's all from my presentation. I will now stop sharing the screen. So if you have any question.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was very interesting, and also it's interesting to see how you're working together. I mean, you said that the whole of the education and training system found themselves in a difficult position at the beginning of the pandemic. So you worked together to create this this platform, which serves all sectors, which seems to me to be a great idea, because if you're familiar with the platform, then if for one area, it's the same when you move to another area. So this, I think, can have very positive consequences. I just like to ask you, in the whole negotiation or discussions about setting up the platform, did you feel that the specific adult education requirements were taken into consideration adequately, or was it sort of higher education driving the show?
No, it was at the ministry. We have more discussion with teachers and representatives from primary, secondary, and adult education providers. And since we are very small country and a small educational system, we just want to make as simplest as we can to have that only one platform, because For example, we, as we have very small number of citizens, many of us have different roles, like being a teacher, being parent, and being, I don't know, employer somewhere. And it is better to have only one platform in order to everyone get in touch with that. So if you have like sister and she is already met with this Teams platform, she will explain you how to use, and it will save our time for organization of trainings, because we didn't have enough time to make to organize those trainings for everyone who would like to, or obliged to, in this case, to use this of this platform. Because we have now situation that all primary school, all secondary schools, and all adult education providers are using the same platform. So in our case, it is probably since we have a small number of institutions, we could do that.
Yes, no, that sounds ideal, but there was one thing that intrigued me, because if I understood correctly, in the adult education sector, 30% of the organizations providing education for adults are public and 70% are private. So this in fact means that you provide a service to private companies as well.
Yes, because
and sorry, just to understand a little bit about the private companies and what they're providing. I mean, are they providing formal education in the sense that they're working towards a curriculum of the ministry, or are they providing their own offer where they think, you know, the market requires it? And also, are they charging people for their services? And then with regard to the public, the 30% that is public, if I have understood you as well, that seems to be more continuing vocational training, and sometimes even initial vocational training for those people who haven't got it. And in the private sector, is that more general education, or how is it distributed there?
So we have one situation that all of our adult education providers needs to be to pass some process of licensing at the ministry. In that process of licensing or registering, they need to have like a bunch of papers in order to complete this licensing process. So they need to apply for one or several programs they want to realize that have already been approved by our relevant national council. So they don't have the opportunity to implement some or realize some program that it is not approved by this council, but only programs that are approved by this national council. Those programs that this council is approving are different programs. They can be formal programs, vet programs, all different, but it is not the case that any adult education providers is implementing some programs that is not on the list of that council. And it is the same precondition for private and for public institutions. In terms of charging their services, public and private institutions have the same policy for charging their services. So they have their own policy for charging, but even public institutions, even though they are funded by national budget, in these terms of adult education providers, when they apply to be an adult education provider, they can charge their services the same way the private one does.
Thank you. And I see that Antink has her hand up. Would you like to introduce yourself and to ask your question, Antink?
Yes, thank you, Martina. I am from the Netherlands and I work for the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Kingdom Relations. And I'm a colleague of Monique. From the Ministry of Internal Affairs, I'm a member of the program Digital Inclusion. So we focus mainly on digital basic skills. For the program on basic skills education in the Netherlands, I'm developing a national monitor, kind of similar to what was shown just now. So I have a question. If I understand correctly, Montenegro is organized it's more centralized, I think, in their organization, because if I understand correctly, the ministry is the main assignment party for the providers, because in the Netherlands it's the municipalities who give the assignments for education to the providers, and therefore we have a lot of I think we have a bit more difficulties in developing a monitor and in gathering all kinds of data about the participants on education. So I would like to hear some more about the way your governance is organized.
Yes, it is true. In Montenegro, the ministry is in charge of all policies related to education in the country. So it means also in charge of adult education policy. As I already told you, that all companies, private or public ones, that want to be adult education providers, they have to apply and submit this very big documentation at the ministry. So our minister then established special commission representing people from the ministry and from other institutions that are in charge of adult learning policy, like VET Center and Examination Center. So that commission gives or not is not giving this license for that adult education providers. Only if the ministry gives this license for their work, it means that he is in the system and he can implement those programs they are licensed for.
Yes, so you can, as a ministry, you can make demands
Yes.
with the providers, so that it's obligated to participate in the platform, to collect all kinds of data and share this with the ministry. Okay, so yeah, that makes it a lot easier to make a more uniform monitoring, because in the Netherlands we have a lot of different kinds of providers who all use different kinds of registration systems, municipalities who use all kinds of different monitoring systems. So we have to combine all these practical and technical systems together to make a national monitor. So that makes it a lot more difficult. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. And also I can add that in our general law on education, so it is the main law in our country, we have a provision that all educational institutions have, I think, 15 days from the start of realization of the program to put all information for that program in this maze, in this information system of the ministry. So it means that they have only 14 days in order to put like names of all candidates, programs they want to attend, and other information. So as a ministry, it is very easy to monitor all those information since we have access to that.
Okay.
It is not only applied for adult education providers, but it is applied for all educational system, but not only it is not applied for higher education institutions, since they have their own information system at the state university.
Okay. Yes, thank you. We are thinking about changing the law, but not in a way that obligates providers and municipalities to share data with Dutch government, national government, because I think well, in the Netherlands, municipalities are quite autonomous, and a lot of them are not willing to share personal information, personal data about their participants with the national government. So, well, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. But I think, you know, if anybody wants to come in on this question, please indicate your interest or put your hand up, and because we'll be broadening the discussion shortly. But I just wanted to ask you, Maria, can you tell us exactly how big your population is? Because I know it's quite small, but I'm not quite sure what it is. And just, sorry? Half a million. Yeah. 500,000. Okay, so we're talking a country similar to Malta in size, I guess. Well, in population, yes. And probably even less population than Luxembourg. Yes, okay.
Something like Luxembourg, yes. But majority of population are living in one city. So it is the capital, and some of them on the coast because it is more developed region than the north of the country. So it is very easy to organize in a best or the fastest way that we can.
Mm-hmm.
We have only 50, for example, we have only 50 secondary schools, 250 primary schools, and 100 adult education providers. And only one state university and 3 private universities. But those private are very, very small.
And what's the sort of demand for digital skills and digital education at the moment? Is that a growing area that you see requested by your providers? And has the could you say a bit more about the Teams project? Is that solely for sharing information with your providers at the moment, or are they also providing their courses?
They use this platform to provide their courses also.
Okay.
And it wasn't happened in March last year, but from June, because we have some new changes, from June they need to organize their lessons online, so they use this platform, even though it is not easy in all educational programs, especially with one that have a very big percent of practical education. So only like theory, it is organized through this platform, and other part is practical education. But there are also a lot of educational programs like learning languages and etc. that can be organized. The whole program is organized only online using this platform, also by adult education providers. It is not like only sharing information or something like that, but they use it also for their lessons and programs.
And are all the adult education centers still closed at the moment? Or have some of them reopened?
No, some of them are working, can have their lessons not online but alive. But there are several municipalities, and the biggest one that are closed. They can work now only online.
Okay. Thank you very much.